I'll call this meeting to order. Today is April 23rd, 2024. It's now 3:15 p.m. Mayor Pro Tem, introductions or announcements, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, we have several today. We've got three. So number one, in cooperation with the City of Prescott, Territorial Holdings will host a public open house to unveil the proposed mixed-use development on the site of the old Prescott City Hall. The open house will take place Thursday, April 25th from 4 to 6 inside the old City Hall located at 201 South Cortez Street, Prescott, Arizona 86303. This will be an open format where citizens can walk through, they can view the renderings and information boards and ask questions of the staff and the representatives of Territorial Holdings. The project, entitled The Assembly at Old City Hall, is scheduled to go before the Prescott Preservation Commission for a study session on Friday, May 10th at 9 o'clock in the new City Hall Council Chambers, right here where you're sitting. For more information and to comment about the proposed project, go to participateprescott.com. The City of Prescott's free brush and vegetation debris drop-off event for its residential trash customers is underway and will continue for only the next 2 Saturdays until May 4th from 7 to 3 at the City of Prescott Transfer Station. Proof of City of Prescott residency is required. Please do not bag the brush or vegetation debris and do not include other trash. Remember to cover and contain all loads while transporting. Number 3, the 19th Whiskey Off-Road Bike Race takes place this weekend, April 26th through April 28th in Prescott. There will be thousands of bicyclists and many street closures during this event. The Whiskey Off-Road has rides for all ages and skill levels, live concerts on the square, and is one of the premier tourist events in Prescott. Please go to experienceprescott.com and social media channels for further information. And that's all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We will now have an invocation from Rich Stoffen from Pine Rock. He's here. Thanks, Rich. Followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Ken Telme.
Father, we thank you for your presence in this place today. You tell us in Scripture in 1 Timothy chapter 2 to pray for kings and those in authority. Well, we have no kings here, but we do have these who are here in authority. So we pray that you give them wisdom during this meeting in the decisions that they have to make. We thank you again for being able to live in such a beautiful place like Prescott. And we ask this weekend, as the bikers are here, that you keep them all safe, and that would be a great event for this city. We thank you. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Please stay standing and we'll do the pledge.
Thank you. We'll have roll call, please.
Mayor Good.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ken Telme.
Here.
Councilwoman Fruworth.
Here.
Councilman Gambogi.
Here.
Councilman Montoya.
Still here.
Councilman Moore.
Here.
And Councilmember Rusing.
Here.
Now we'll have a presentation and update from Judge Mitch Padilla.
Okay, good afternoon, Mayor, council members. First off, I'd like to say thank you very much for the opportunity to continue to serve the city in the role as a city judge. I consider it an honor and look forward to it every day, no matter how busy the calendar looks. So, what I would like to do is, does that help there? Okay, Thank you. What I'd like to do is just talk to you about two things that have taken place over the last 16 months since I've been handling this job. The first is we were fortunate enough, it's a county building, so the courtroom is a county facility. We've been fortunate enough to get funding to go ahead and refresh the courtroom. So this is a number of years in the making, 15, perhaps 20 years, where there's been some degree of neglect is a nice way to put that. Bottom line is I'm very proud of some of the changes we've been able to do, spearheading the effort, the assistance of my court administrator, Denise, seated next to me here. We've accomplished a lot. So the courtroom has a different feel. It has a different look. You are welcome anytime to stop in and take a look. Just very, very happy with it. We aren't quite done, but not everything happens in one day. So that's the courtroom. With regard to one of the things that I personally wanted to get going, and that was the creation of a veterans treatment court at the misdemeanor level. And this is not to be confused with the Superior Court's Veterans Court. That has been operating for the last number of years, last 6, 7 years. And the main difference is that court deals with veterans who have been convicted of felonies and now are on the post-adjudicative side of those cases. There has not been a veterans treatment court at the misdemeanor level in Yavapai County until November of last year when we launched ours here in Prescott. It is a joint Veterans Treatment Court, or VTC. It includes the Justice Court, so as Justice of the Peace, those cases that I have, and then as the city court for these cases here. So veterans qualify, I'll just give you a little quick background here. Veterans qualify for this court if they have been charged with a criminal offense. It makes no difference what the offense is, because many times there are things going on in an individual's life that manifest themselves in other ways. So you might say criminal speeding. How do you get into a veterans treatment court with criminal speeding when you're simply, let's just say, going 22 miles over the posted speed limit, for example? Well, what happens there is that the veteran has an opportunity to understand that they could be a part of a program like this, and if they voluntarily want to, we'll collect their information and then we provide it to the VA. So we have a representative over at the VA, mental health specialist, that goes through and does a background check on that veteran. If it turns out that they qualify for assistance, then we will present an opportunity for them to become a part of the program. It's strictly voluntary, as I said. I would tell you that 2 out of 3 veterans turn down the opportunity because there typically is more that is asked of a veteran than to simply work with a prosecutor, take a plea, and move along on their case, for example. So the veterans that do participate, there is a little bit of a sense of camaraderie there. I'm fortunate that as a veteran myself, my bailiff is a veteran. We have some veterans that are there for these hearing dates. Veterans who want to participate get to work with veterans. And that's one of the reasons why there's a connection there. So we began in November of last year. That was our very first hearing date. We started with 2 veterans, and this is April the 23rd. Our next Veterans Treatment Court hearing date is on Wednesday, May the 15th. It begins at 2 o'clock. It is open to the public. And we have 13 on the calendar for that day. I anticipate that probably around the July timeframe, we may be graduating our first veteran or 2 out of the program. And we do want to make that a special day. And I'm looking forward to it. So this is a program I talked about. The mayor, I met the mayor several years ago, talked to him about one of the things that I wanted to do if I ever had the opportunity to get elected as Justice of the Peace here. And finally have that opportunity. So I do want to thank the city, all city council members for your support on the program. I know it's difficult to not want to support veterans that are in need. But bottom line is, I still feel your support. I do want to give a shout out here to Mr. Young for supporting the program. Just to give you an idea, when we do meet for our staffing sessions, I do have a prosecutor from the city. That's Miss Moore. She does a fine job for us. I've got the county prosecutor that is present. I do have the Yavapai County Public Defender Office representative there. That attorney also assists us and provides counsel to all veterans. I have 2 members from the VA. One is behavioral health, the other is benefits. So even if a veteran were to come there on the fence, not sure they want to participate at that hearing date, they have an opportunity to talk to a representative and find out, 1, what benefits they are eligible for, and 2, they also get an opportunity to have a hands-on guidance on how to apply for those benefits. So a really, really great opportunity, even if a veteran just stopped by to find out what is it all about. Then my staff, I have a few representatives from my staff that are present. We've got the Victims Advocate Office from the Yavapai County. They're there to serve any veteran that happens to be there, whether it's a county case or a city case. And we just recently brought on a couple of mentors out of our Disabled American Veterans Office here in Prescott. So we have them now coming in. And it's really just it's just you kind of learn as you go. There is no real blueprint, and we're figuring it out. And we think that we're going to continue to be successful. I invite you all, anytime you feel like stopping in, to take a look. As I said, May 15th, 2 p.m. is our next hearing date. And I'll take any questions if you have anything that I've shared with you today.
Well, thank you very much, Judge. As you mentioned, I was heavily involved with Judge Mackey when they created the first Veterans Court at the Superior Court level. And it's been an unqualified success. The recidivism rate for veterans going through that program is substantially below what the average rate is within the state. And quite frankly, some of the outreach programs that the Superior Court does, even for non-veterans, has shown to be a very significant reduction in recidivism. So I know you and I talked about expanding that into the Justice Court or the misdemeanor court system, and I applaud your following through with that and creating what I think is the first Veterans Court at that level in the state, if I'm not incorrect. Is that true?
Well, actually, no, there are a few others elsewhere. We just simply didn't have any here in Yavapai County.
Well, I guess the word got out before you had a chance to get elected and get it going. So I'll give you credit for it anyway.
Well, thank you.
But I think sometimes people figure or they comment that, why is it veterans get some kind of a special compensation? Well, first of all, we're known as one of the highest veteran populations of virtually any city in the United States outside of cities that are near major military installations and bases. And it's been known that veterans sometimes when they break the law are more likely not to break it again as long as they can get a little bit of advice and be able to get back on track and realize where they should be. So I think the investment in a veterans court pays off with lower violations and again, recidivism, which of course is the likelihood that someone is going to reoffend. So I appreciate all your efforts, Judge, and we'll be monitoring as your experiment continues, and I'm sure it'll be very, very successful. So thank you. Any other comments or concerns? No.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge Padilla.
All right,
Appreciate
thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Okay. Okay, next we have a proclamation for the 100-year anniversary of Kiwanis, our local service organization.
All right, can I have representatives from the Kiwanis Club come on up? And don't hurt yourself on the way here. Right. Thank you. Come on up, come on up. You know what? Balanced photos are good. Okay, this proclamation is for Prescott Kiwanis 100 years of service. Whereas Kiwanis International is one of the largest service organizations in the world, with more than 430,000 members of all ages and abilities in more than 80 nations and geographic areas. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Prescott has spearheaded and funded construction and/or enhancements to numerous recreational sites in the city, including Ken Lindley Field Playground, gym floor and scoreboard at Grace Sparks Activity Center, Kayla's Hands Playground, Kids Corner at Heritage Park Zoo, the amphitheater at the Highlands Center for Natural History, an accessible trail at the Community Nature Center, numerous scoreboards at schools in Prescott, and funded a myriad of other projects to serve children. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Prescott has organized and hosted the Kitty Parade during the annual Frontier Days celebration for 84 years, fostering a love for country and civic pride in our youth. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Prescott continues to support and develop the leadership and education for our youth through support and engagement with the Prescott High School Key Club and its ongoing fundraising efforts through the 76 years of conducting the Kiwanis auction, have awarded over $250,000 in scholarships to local students. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Prescott intends to continue its charitable outreach to our community's youth and make Prescott an even better place to live. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Prescott was chartered on May 10th, 1924, and is officially celebrating 100 years of service to our kids. Now, therefore, Phil Good, Mayor of the City of Prescott, does hereby proclaim May 10th, 2024 as Prescott Kiwanis Day and calls upon all citizens of Prescott to render support to the members of this organization and to make themselves aware of the Kiwanis Club of Prescott, whose members are providing meaningful service to our homes, schools, and community. Congratulations. Slide in, slide in, slide in, slide in. There we go.
Wonderful. On behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Prescott, we wish to thank not only each and every one of our members who've served for so many years, but all the members of the community who have worked hard and participated in our activities, such as our auction that takes place every year. You see the banner across Gurley. It's helped us raise hundreds of thousands of dollars, upwards of millions of dollars over the 100 years. We have a commitment to this community. We love this community. We intend to stay with this community and look forward to serving you for the next 100 years.
Ready.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
All right, and as Councilwoman Freeworth makes her way back to her seat, I'll go ahead and move us on to the open call to the public. The City of Prescott welcomes public engagement. Residents may comment and address the council regarding matters that are not included on the posted agenda during the open call to the public. As a reminder, please complete a green speaker card and submit it to me prior to the meeting being convened if you wish to speak. Speakers are limited to 4 minutes, and the call to the public will be limited to 40 minutes in total, with the following stipulations. Citizens will be limited to addressing the council on the same topic only 4 times in total. If a topic has been addressed more than 5 times by different speakers, the mayor may limit future discussion on this topic, and topics of a primarily national concern may be limited at the discretion of the mayor. At this time, I do not have any comment cards. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council? Okay.
Hearing no open call to the public participants, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull any items from consent?
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to pull items F and G.
And I'd like to pull items D and E.
Very well, then I'll entertain a motion on the remaining items on the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda items A through L, excluding D, E, F, G.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Very good. Even though Lois has the alphabetical lead, I'll let Kathy Rusing start since you were first.
Yes.
Councilmember Rusing.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Gwen from Public Works. Oh, it looks like we have Randy, our city engineer. Thank you. The reason why I pulled these 2 items is they're connected, and I find these items very exciting, and we need to discuss this for the public because it's something that's going to improve our traffic flows and traffic safety across the city. So take it away, Randy.
All right, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. We appreciate your consideration to adopt these resolutions that allows staff to apply for 2 separate HSIP grants through the Arizona Department of Transportation. You have some background information in your agendas and your packets, but if you'd like for the public, I can read a little bit about the HSIP program if it'd be beneficial. So the HSIP program works to achieve a significant reduction in traffic fatalities and serious injuries on public roads through the implementation and guidance of the state's Strategic Traffic Safety Plan, or the STSP. This is a multi-year statewide coordinated safety plan that provides a comprehensive framework for reducing fatalities and serious injuries on all public roads. It is data-driven and establishes statewide safety goals, objectives, and key emphasis areas. The HSIP focused on applications that prevent serious injuries and fatalities resulting from pedestrian and roadway departure crashes through systemic infrastructure improvements. The types of improvements that are eligible for funding through this program include pavement markings, signage, roadway, geometric changes, signals, and lighting. So basically, we've been working with SIMPO, our regional partner, and they have hired Greenlight Engineering to kind of look at some local projects and prioritize those projects. We're looking at projects that we feel will qualify first, and then will also be competitive to increase our likelihood of getting this funding. The close of this year's application period ends August 19th, and so we are currently pursuing 2 separate grants. The first one is for $3.75 million, and this is for a programmatic citywide radar speed feedback sign project. And this project would allow us to install 100 radar speed feedback signs throughout the city on arterials and collectors. And then the second project is for $2.25 million. And this would be for intersection signing, marking, and traffic calming improvements. So I think we can all kind of picture what a radar feedback sign looks like. We have one right here on the slide. But on the intersection improvement grant, this could look like enhanced crosswalks, LED lighting, pavement markings, flashers, reflective signal head backplates, rumble strips, medians, and other traffic calming or safety improvements. We didn't prepare a formal presentation, but we wanted to go ahead and just list the major arterials and collectors that were identified as part of the Green Light study, where we would be installing these feedback signs. And Ian asked me, who couldn't be here with us today, to remind you that our citywide speed and travel time study that was recently completed also recommended these feedback signs and confirmed the same locations that the Green Light study also highlighted.
Councilman Moore, did you want to ask your question now?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your presentation, and I'm really in favor of this, and I think it's wonderful. One thing that I think that was missing from where these funds can be used and how they can help us is sidewalks. And I just hope, I know we've had several fatalities recently in people with crosswalks, and we're lacking adequate sidewalks in some areas of town for public safety, for people to move on some of our streets that just aren't well protected. And so I hope that there maybe are future grant opportunities additionally to get some more sidewalks as well. Thank you.
Councilman
Yes.
Gambogi, did you want to ask your question now? Councilman Gambogi.
Did Eric get his answer?
He did.
In your presentation, you said there was some statistical data that shows the impact of these signs, the programmable speed signs.
Right. So we conducted our own independent study through Strand, and one of the recommendations that came out of that report was speed feedback signs. And they didn't identify all of the same locations, but many of the locations that we identified in that study were also identified by Simpo's consultant, Greenlight Engineering.
Okay, they recommended it, but do we know they do anything?
Do we know they do anything?
Yeah, I mean, Brooks Compton sees this programmable speed sign, he tries to drive it up to 3 digits. I mean, do we know that someone sees a programmable sign and then slows down?
My understanding is that they do accomplish slower speeds. I know there are some studies to suggest that they become less effective over time, but there's different things that you can do to the signs to catch people's attention. Some of the newer signs actually have red and blue flashing lights.
Oh, yeah.
And as part of the speed feedback, which tends to grab people's attention. So there's different things you can do to get people's attention with those.
We have some now, right? I've seen them on
We
Sierra
do.
Peaks a number of times. Okay, thank you.
So specifically, obviously the speed feedback signs aren't going to, those grant monies aren't going to be used for anything but the feedback signs. But as they relate to the intersection improvements, there could be some opportunities there for sidewalk improvements and enhancements in the intersection corridor. So I don't know if that answers that question.
For pedestrian safety.
Councilmember Roosing.
Thank you. I think anything that enhances our traffic and pedestrian safety is well worth the investment. I just wanted to ask, it looks like there's going to be some data collection and some studies and planning, so this isn't going to happen overnight. Do you expect it to be 2 or 3 years before it's implemented? But we're at least getting the ball rolling now.
Correct.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. So can I ask you, will this list be posted on our website?
We could definitely post it.
Okay.
No problem.
I'm so excited to see a couple of those that we've needed. Willis and Montezuma. We've got a thriving business down there called Founding Fathers, and that intersection has needed something like this. In fact, Tim Sherwood, you and I met out there I've twice seen near misses there. So I'm really excited about that. Can you, in addition to that sign, is there any other implementation? Are there like bumps in the roads or anything else, or is it just the sign?
Yeah, so for the intersection improvements, there's a number of different things that the design portion of the projects will identify. But yeah, you can use rumble strips, medians. There's a number of different tools at our disposal that we can use at those locations.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Furworth.
Thank you. I was going to pull these items too, Kathy, because I was so excited to get this information out to the public. When I look back at the fun we've had over the last year regarding the light at Fair and Gale Gardner, this is exactly the kind of thing that the public was asking for, is some kind of intersection marking, just to have everyone slow down and look for pedestrians. And with the unfortunate tragedy that we just had recently on March 29th with the death of Mr. Clausen. These are the things that the public is looking for us to do, and so I'm really excited that we're going for these grants, and just want to bring some hope to people that this council up here takes these issues very seriously and is proud to vote yes for your two proposals.
thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? I'll entertain a motion on items F and G.
Mayor, I move that we approve. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Yeah, Mayor, I move that we move to approve consent agenda item 9F and 9G.
Second.
Motion is second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Okay, very good. Councilwoman Furworth on items 9D and E.
Yes, I wanted to pull these off the consent agenda again so that the public could hear about what's going on. We're looking at a new vendor being involved with, given how patriotic this town is, 4th of July is a big deal. So wanted to make sure that we had an item to be able to discuss what the plans are and your confidence level with a new vendor helping us out.
Great, thank you. So just kind of go over a little history. The past couple years, as you guys know, last year the event didn't happen on the 4th. That was a big thing. We've got a lot of feedback on that. So that we look at this as a total reset for us to start, build this better, make it a better experience. And that's just based on the feedback from the public, from city employees. We actually had a lot of our employees said, hey, we can do this better. And so that got us looking at, how do we do this better? That's finding a good partnership, locking it on the actual 4th, and guaranteeing that. So with that, I'll touch on the fireworks itself here first. So we've expanded the barge, and that's something that my staff did. We built that from the original, and we've improved it every year and made it stronger. And the intent of that is we can shoot the fireworks off of the water. That puts us in a much safer place with the fire hazards. When we shot them at Pioneer Park, oftentimes we had fires on the hillsides. We had all kinds of crazy stuff with fires out there. This fallout zone is the lake itself, which gives us a lot more safety and shy of a guarantee that we're going to shoot our fireworks off. Now, to touch on that, this year with the expansion of the barge, we've got 18 8-inch shells, 12 6-inch, 80 to 100 5-inch, and 144 4-inch. Now, what that means is we're close to just over 400 shells that we're going to be shooting off that barge. That should give us a pretty good show with it. Now, on average, an 8-inch shell is going to go about 900 feet, because I know we've had complaints that they're hard to see and that kind of stuff. So 900 feet, but remember, shooting off the lake, we're a lot lower from ground level, meaning like where the roadway is or that kind of stuff. So we're not going to see them downtown because of the mountain ranges that block between Watson Lake and downtown. So we feel very comfortable with the firework contract. We worked with him for about 3 years now, and we haven't had any problems with him. He's been successful. He loves doing it, and he's a great partnership with us. So this year, adding in to where we take back and make this a better and more fun event. So we sent out an RFP. We had 2 respondents to the RFP. One of the respondents we're not very large. They do more weddings and kind of small events, large scale weddings and that kind of stuff. JAR turned in their packet and we reviewed it with staff and went over it, and we've decided to work with them on it, and their representatives are here and they can talk more about their specifics. If you'd like to hear that, I can have them come up.
Yes, please.
Councilman Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. This question is for Tim before Josh and his organization start. Just as a naturalist, has there been any studies regarding the fallout that goes into the lake? I mean, that's a lot of pollutants, and it's already a polluted lake, and we're putting a lot of sulfur and chemicals into the water that is in Watson Wood. Besides the effect on wildlife in the area, we have nesting birds and things, and we're shooting off shells this is an important bird area. It has a national designation as an important bird area with a National Audubon Society. And so it's just a concern that we're shooting off fireworks in this environment and letting the debris fall in water that is part of our watershed.
Yeah, so Councilman Moore, when we decided to move this to Watson Lake 3 or 4 years ago, we did research that. And one of the things is the duration of those being in the water. So we're out there at the crack of dawn the next morning cleaning it up. But I researched, I think in Nevada, there's a couple places, Tahoe, and there's really no negative impacts as long as you get on it and clean it up quickly. So we did look at that. And one thing I wanted to point out that Tim didn't point out is the reason we were really motivated to reset and get this event going back in a different direction is we wanted to make it family friendly and free. So whereas we charged previous vendor charged for parking in the park, people can park for free. If they don't want to spend any money, they can bring in their own pop-ups. They can have a free event, watch the fireworks. If they want to go inside the entertainment zone, that's where Josh and his team come in, and I'll let them speak about their qualifications and what their plans are for that. But family friendly and free was really a big goal that we had. We really want it to be a good patriotic 4th of July event.
Go ahead, Josh.
Alrighty. So to their point, we kind of want to go back to our roots, back to the Pioneer Park Day. I grew up here. April grew up here. This is home for us. And we've seen this event not going as it should for several years. Talked about getting involved and just fell into place here. So, collectively, we agree that, free general admission, free parking, an elevated VIP experience if you want to come and not sit down, on the grass field. We'll work on that upper VIP area, making it a great experience for those folks that want to come up there. Our kids activity area, we're looking at, a minimum of 12 activities, including water slides over there. We'll have, dedicated food truck area with covered seating to make sure that the families have shade to sit under and enjoy a meal and drinks, things of that nature. We want to take that grass field, kind of split it into 3 sections, have a area where you can just bring your blankets and sit out and hang out, have a picnic style lunch if you want to. We also want to take the back part of the grass field and split it into 2 different areas. If you want to bring your pop-up on a first come first served basis, we'll have sectioned off spaces, predetermined spaces for those folks to bring them out. We'll also give those folks that want to spend a little money and don't want to wait in line a couple hours early to come out and pre-reserve half of the pop-up spaces. So again, we want to make sure if you want to come out, have a free day, you can do that. If you want to come out and have a day where you don't want to worry about much, you can also do that. It comes with a little expense, but not too much. And so other things that we've looked at, and it's been approved by Air Force and FAA, but pending war, availability of pilots and planes, they've approved the flyover for us. So, making it patriotic as well. We got to get the planes and war can't break out. So, so the point for us is to make this a better experience for everyone involved. We want the community to come back and have a good time. We want them to, that stigmatism that's been there lingering for a couple of years to go away. Collectively, our team is been experienced in event production, including but not limited to the St. Patrick's Day pub crawl, the Friends of Jersey Lily Saloon courthouse lighting fundraiser. We actually didn't take time off this year for that. We're still working on it going into 2024.
Last year was $78,000 that we raised for the courthouse lighting. Yeah.
Pre-COVID, we had Jersey Lily Saloon Day, which was a huge day. One of the mayors had, dedicated a day for Jersey Lily Saloon. We made it a huge event. We do tacos and beer for veterans, so we raise money for the Prescott regulators and their Shady Ladies, and 100% of those proceeds go to the Yavapai College Veterans Association over there. JARD members have also coordinated with County Fair and 4-H on a volunteer basis for several years. And outside of event management, we very involved in this community and reinvesting back into it. We also have Prescott Pro Sound here. We have hired them to come on board with us, so they are in this as well with us. The famous Ted Leonard and Brian and so so we have an excellent team. There's a couple other team members on our side that we have been working on this for quite some time, and we're prepared to give Prescott the July 4th celebration that it deserves.
Well, thank you, Josh. I know I've heard from many people over the last couple of years, especially last year when we didn't have it on Independence Day.
Yeah.
It was like Independence Day +2 or +3 or something like that.
-3.
Yeah. Yeah, that just doesn't work.
Agreed.
If we're going to celebrate the birth of our country, it better be on the right day. So I know you have a lot of experience putting on great events, and I think the community at large is really going to appreciate I'll say a resurrection of how 4th of July needs to be celebrated. Have any questions or concerns?
Make a motion.
Well, in that case, I will entertain a motion for items 9D and E.
Mayor, did you want to go? Go ahead. Mayor, I make a motion to approve consent item 9D and 9E.
And I happily second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you all. I'm looking forward to this for sure. Thanks. So you got a year to get it really set up right. In the next year, 250-year anniversary. Keep that in mind. Okay? So.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Okay, we'll move to item 10A.
Public hearing and consideration for a new Series 6 bar liquor license application from Amy Nations, applicant for Bricks, location 130 West Gurley Street, Suite B16. The application fee has been paid and the sign has been posted for the required 20 days. Staff has reviewed the application and determined that it is in compliance and no public comments have been received.
Well, I don't think the applicant is here,
She's not.
so we'll just move on with the motion.
Well, I just have a question. I just want to make sure, is this the location? Is it in the Bashford Courts?
It is, yes.
Okay, just checking. Mayor, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion is second. Please vote.
Mayor, whoops.
Councilmember Rusing, can you please vote on your screen? Thank you. Passes 7-0.
Mayor, I move to approve liquor license number 282367 for a new Series 6 bar liquor license application for Bricks, location 130 West Gurley Street, Suite B16.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Very good. We'll move on to item 10B.
Public hearing and consideration for a new Series 9 liquor store liquor license application from Lauren K. Merritt, applicant for Maverick, location 650 Whipple Street. The application fee has been paid and the sign has been posted for the required 20 days. Staff has reviewed the application and determined that it is in compliance and no public comments have been received.
Mayor, I have a comment.
Councilmember Rusing.
Thank you. This is at the Maverick store on Ruth Street, and it's across the street from the YMCA. There's a like a schoolyard on the corner, and I just had some concerns about the 300-foot limit from the applicant's building to, it says right here, to a outdoor recreational area of a church or school. The YMCA is faith-based. They have daycare, summer school, and after-school programs for kids all the way up through, I don't know, high school. So I was just wondering if this was in compliance with that state statute.
This location already has a liquor license. This is a stacked liquor license, so this would add liquor sales on top of a beer and wine already existing. It's not within the distance based on the review by code or by the police department that would be in any violation.
Because I printed out the application. It says how to measure the distance to the nearest school and church, 300 feet of a school or church, and it's a straight line. So if you measure a straight line from the corner of the building across the street to the outdoor recreation fence line, it's under.
Well, that's not a school or a church. And again, it's been reviewed by staff. It's been reviewed by the police department, by my office, as well as by our community development department. And it was reviewed by the liquor board before it was sent to us. There were no issues with the liquor license application.
Okay, thank you. I was just double checking, making sure that all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed. Thank you.
Councilman Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. I think Sarah's probably answered most of my question because I was just confused why they were asking for a liquor license because I knew they already had a liquor license. So could you explain what it means by being stacked? They're just going to sell new kinds of liquors that require a different license?
Correct. So there are a couple of different liquor licenses that allow what's called a stacked license. For example, an existing business can have a beer and wine store series, which is a series 10, I believe. I may not be correct on the series number. In any event, they are able to stack on top of that existing license a liquor store license. That's what this one is doing. Also, a restaurant can stack a bar. So for example, Park Plaza was in recently, and they are stacking. So they already have a restaurant liquor license established, and they're stacking with a bar license. Back Alley Wine Bar has a stacked license. They have a bar license as well as a tasting license, which is a separate series type. So not all liquor licenses can be stacked, but there are a set of series that do allow you to stack, and this is one of those.
And you were right, it was 10. Very good. Councilmember Rusing, do you have an additional question?
No, thanks.
No. All right, if your concerns have been addressed, then I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, if I may, I just think it's important to ask for a public comment. I understand there's no public here, but given the public hearing, I think we need to ask for that.
Okay, public out there, does anybody have a comment or concern? Hearing none, then I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to close. Did we already close the public hearing?
Not yet, so that'll be your first
so
one.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Have motion and second, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Mayor, I move to approve liquor license number 280156 for a new Series 9 liquor store liquor license application for Maverick at 650 Whipple Street.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Here we
Passes 7-0.
Okay, now that we've cleared the room here, we'll move on to the regular agenda item 11A.
Adoption of resolution number 2024-1881, approving city contract number 2024-204, an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Prescott and the city of Phoenix to receive and process recyclable materials.
Yeah, we've had fireworks and stacking of liquor, and I don't know how we can top that, Brady, but
it's going to be tough.
yeah, it is. So good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Jenna Ramsey, Public Works, and over here at the podium today is Brady Higgs, Superintendent of Solid Waste. And we have, for your consideration today, an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Prescott and the city of Phoenix for the processing and handling of our recyclables material. It's important to note that this agreement is basically a renewal. Ours is about to expire, correct, Brady? We've been through all the processes of the initial year and then the subsequent renewals, and so it is time to renew. Brady's here with all the other details about that.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Brady Higgs, Solid Waste Superintendent. So like Janet said, we're the item before you is a resolution to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Phoenix to accept and process our commingle recycling that we collect from residential customers as well as our commercial customers. We haul down roughly 6,000 tons worth of material annually, and they accept it, process it, and then send it out to other markets. Over the last 2 IGAs that we've had with them, that we've been doing this for the last 10 years. So we follow their standards for what material they're accepting, as well as sharing information as far as helping with our outreach program. So some of the social media posts, the do's and don'ts, the recycle myths, they're assisting in kind of an information share as well. Not only does this IGA allow us to haul our commingle recycling down there, it also provides us an additional disposal option if the need were ever to arise with our current location where we haul. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have today.
So, Brady, are you contrasting Gray Wolf with the location down there in Anthem, isn't it?
Yes, Mayor. So the location that we're hauling to is the North Gateway Transfer Station. That's it's on Dixoletta Road off the I-17, and they have a material recovery facility that we haul to. But our trash that we collect that gets hauled out to the waste management landfill, Gray Wolf landfill in Dewey.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of members of the public that don't really realize that we do recycle pretty aggressively, and if they go out to Gray Wolf for their own purposes, sometimes they might be confused because they don't realize that we're dealing with that huge recycling facility up there on Anthem, North Prescott. I mean North Phoenix, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly not North Prescott. Councilman Moore?
Thank you, Mayor. Brady, I know that you just mentioned they dictate like what you can deliver. It seems like several years ago, we used to be able to do like 1 through 6, and I think now it's only 1 and 2s. You have to look at every box and every label and every piece of plastic and see, is it still just going to be 1 and 2s?
Yeah, yes, Councilman Moore. Right now, that's the primary focus. They were trying to get out of necessarily going to numbers. Some of the outreach that we've posted is just more shapes and styles of containers, and these are the primary things that we want in your container, just because there's good domestic markets for them. So it's always changing. There's new processes coming up. That facility that we haul to is probably the biggest one in the state. Not only do we haul our material there, Phoenix does as well. The city of Peoria, city of Avondale, the town of Pine Top, and Maricopa County all take their recyclables down there. So it's a pretty large operation, but stuff can change. So as more information comes out or we can clean up, because I know that's a tough thing. Sometimes people see the ribbons on it and just expect it to go in there. But we're just going to follow kind of their rules on what they're dictating right now.
Well, I appreciate that we do offer recycling. I know there's a lot of communities that don't offer any recycling, and I really, really appreciate that as a city. That's a priority. And I would just wish we could recycle more. I really do.
Yes.
Any other comments or concerns? Councilmember Rusing.
Thank you. I support recycling, but unfortunately, there's not much of a market for recyclables. So this, we basically we lose money every year, but we do it as an investment in the environment. And we're actually very lucky to have a facility that's still open that takes recyclables. So I just wanted to stress that.
Very good. Is there any public comment?
There is not, Mayor.
I think I recognize everyone remaining in the council chamber, so maybe I don't have to ask. So I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 2024-1881.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Sarah, I'm a yes.
Thank you. Passes 7-0.
Thank you, Brady. Okay, we'll move to item 11B, please.
Approval of City Contract Number 2023-211A2, an amendment to City Contract Number 2023-211 with J. Banachke Construction for the Iron Springs Road Pavement Repair Project.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Tim Sherwood, and assorted various empty chairs. Tim Sherwood, Public Works, Capital Program Manager. The item I have for you today, as Sarah mentioned, is approval of the Iron Springs Road Pavement Replacement Project. And I've asked Greg Patrick, our Pavement Program Manager, to give you more detail on what the project's going to entail.
All right, Mayor, Council. This project is part of the pavement management program. It seeks to address the deteriorating asphalt of Iron Springs Road at Gail Gardner through milling, paving operations. This project begins on the southwest side of the intersection of Iron Springs and Gail Gardner Way and will extend northwest approximately 500 feet to just beyond the entrance to the shopping center. It will entail milling the existing asphalt approximately 3 inches and then repaving the area. The areas that are milled will be repaved that same day. This will require the closure of Gail Gardner Way with approved detour routes in place. And due to this and to minimize the disruption to traffic and the local businesses, we are seeking permission to perform this work at night. We will also be working with the public relations firm to notify the public and the affected businesses as well as the residents. As said before, this project is part of the pavement management program and is essential to sustain and enhance the roadway infrastructure through that area. And with that, I'll go ahead and either give it back to Tim or take any questions that you guys might have.
Greg, when do you expect to begin the project?
The beginning of June, right around June 9th, I think it is.
So will we have completed the work on Willow Creek Road by then?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Both phases that we're doing currently will both be done by then.
Yeah, I know. It's so important to get all this work done when the weather is cooperating.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
But having so many projects happening at the same time, people are trying to figure out ways around them. And this is going to be a big one. But if it all gets done at night, that's going to be a big help.
Yes. Yeah, it shouldn't conflict with any other contracts in the area. So, because it is at night.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Any comments or concerns? Councilmember Rusing?
I was happy to see that the bike lane striping, and the lane striping is included in the bid, and hopefully pedestrian crosswalks, because the striping is very important for traffic safety. Thank you.
Councilman
Anything
Moore.
that we remove, we will be putting back.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a question, just because I know we're trying to be fiscally responsible as a council and as a city, but we're doing 500 feet for 565,000, so it's over $1,000 a foot. Is that kind of standard priced for a project? I mean, this is a fairly small project, and it's over
Yes, sir, and it's
$500,000.
a little wider than your normal road. It's literally 6 lanes as it approaches the intersection. If you take the right turn, decel lane onto Gail Gardner, 2 lanes in both directions, and a center median lane at the same time. Yeah, yes, sir. And just to follow up, the asphalt prices have increased pretty significantly, probably well over 20% in the last year.
And due to the deterioration of the asphalt, we really can't go with a less expensive surface treatment. There's lots of potholes and just really bad area through that area. That's why we're having to mill down about 3 inches in order to encompass all that.
Councilwoman Furworth.
Thank you. This is my intersection, so I'm super excited about this. But I had a question because I heard some comments on with one of our former councilmen on the radio show. Is this the section they said has water planing problems? Is that what is causing the super degradation, or was that a little further west on Iron Springs?
I have not heard that. I would believe.
Yeah, I have not heard that comment about any section of Iron Springs.
We
to
don't
be
have
honest.
any water table issues there that I'm aware of.
Okay, if you could, I'm going to approve this, but if you could look into that to understand, if there's something, again, that somebody's noticed. Actually, a caller called in and the host agreed, and so it's this section of Iron Springs. It's between here and the windsock is what they were complaining about with water. So just, I don't normally drive when it's pouring rain, but
Okay.
I guess
Yeah, because
people
the
do.
section on the upper part of the screen, we did that section of Iron Springs to Williamson Valley, and then north on Williamson Valley, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years ago, with a friction course and with a chip seal with an overlay over the top of it. So that's definitely got more of a rough texture to it than newly installed asphalt. So that near the windsock doesn't make sense to me, but we can.
Yeah, it wasn't about the quality of the pavement as much as they were complaining about water pooling and not flowing properly.
So I think what their main concern would be the water coming off the parking lot across Iron Springs, especially following a snowstorm when they have melt in the parking lot. The water drainage comes off of that parking lot, crosses Iron Springs. And when we did the upper portion, kind of created a valley gutter, so it crosses right there. I do have a project in mind to try and address that and take that water from what is coming behind the curb down to the drainage system to eliminate that problem, if that's what they're just concerned about.
Great. I just didn't want to spend $500,000 and then be right back here a year or two from now.
We're looking
with
to
water.
take care of that with a different project. And like I said, it's the parking lot that's draining into across the roadway, I think, is what their concern is. I didn't understand the original kind of question there, so sorry about that.
Well, of course, we know that asphalt is a function of petroleum prices. And 4 years ago, spot petroleum was about $40 a barrel. Now it's well over $83 a barrel. So I think all of our road projects are going to be quite more expensive than we're used to seeing.
Yes, sir.
So maybe future national economic decisions will allow that reduction in petroleum prices to benefit us instead of hurting us in these types of road projects. Do we have any public comment?
We do not, Mayor.
Oh, that's surprising. All right, I'll entertain a motion. Thanks, Craig.
Mayor, I move to approve City Contract 2023-211A2.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Mayor, can I make a motion?
Please vote.
Mayor, can I make a motion? Second, please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Have a motion and a second. Ple
Passes 7-0.
And Mayor, I move to approve night work.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please vote. There we go. Thanks, Greg. Good luck on that.
Passes 7-0.
Good luck on that, Tim, because that's my primary commuting route too. So
Well, don't drive at night. We won't inconvenience you.
Thanks, guys. Okay, we'll move to item 11C.
Approval of city contract number 2024-203 with Cactus Asphalt for the fiscal year 24 pavement preservation pavement overlay project.
Again, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Tim Sherwood, Public Works. This is approval of contract with Cactus Asphalt for $1,611,897.59, as well as approval of night work. The night work will be limited to the Lee Boulevard portion of this project. It's on the map, and Greg will go into more detail with that. This project will be done under a cooperative use contract with Pinal County. Cactus entered into a contract with Pinal County in June of last year, June 27th, and it runs through June of this year. And I'll let Greg explain the various locations we're doing on the map and the various treatment types we're also doing at these locations.
All right. All right, Mayor, Council, this project is
Greg,
part of...
can you just get a little bit closer to the mic? Thank you.
All right, let's see if we can get it kind of come up here. Is that better? All right. This project is part of the pavement management program and aims to enhance the road infrastructure. The primary focus of this project is an asphalt overlay that will be done on the following roads: North Lee Boulevard from Highway 69 to Touchmark, Green Lane from Willow Creek up to Estrella, West Merritt from Montezuma west to the intersection, and then Oregon Avenue from Gale Gardner all the way to city limits. This process will include the milling of the surface of the road and then replacing the asphalt back to the original elevation. We are seeking permission to perform work on North Lee Boulevard at night to minimize the impact to traffic and the businesses. Special consideration will be taken when doing work in front of the fire station along there to make sure that the emergency services are uninterrupted. We will also be working on the public relations firm, or with the public relations firm, to notify the public and the impacted residents. As said before, the project is part of the pavement management program and is essential for sustaining and enhancing the roadway infrastructure. We will also be performing some micro milling or micro sealing, as well as some fog sealing within the vicinity of those roads.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a question probably for both of you. Did these locations come off of that list from that software that determines our needs? How did you determine those?
Yes, these streets have been actually in the program for quite some time. We're kind of at the tail end. We've pretty much gone through the previous cycle where we did all the streets in 2019. We're currently in the process of ramping up to drive all the streets again here
in the next
fairly
couple of months
quickly.
here.
Yeah. So in the next month or two, they'll redrive all the streets in the system. Then we'll update our data and formulate new maps. But I can say, like in particular, like West Merritt Street has been in the program for a while now. And I will say we had some projects that were kind of postponed, projects that were in design, utility issues came up, stuff like that. So we're trying to get some of these projects out. We're on known streets that we know we have to get taken care of that don't require a lot of engineering plans. We just basically put it back the way it is. So we're trying to do that so we can get our streets funds spent in FY24 so we can start with a fresh slate in FY25.
So Tim, on that software, I noticed you've got Merritt Street, Oregon, and Green. I think that says Green Lane.
Green Lane.
Most of those are in the downtown older areas.
Oregon might be considered somewhat downtown. Merritt and Green Lane are a little bit north.
Yeah.
Merritt's right near the Montezuma curve. And the west side of where Montezuma turns it's been in pretty bad shape for a while.
Yeah.
But there's been a number of projects that have been looked at in there. So it was just kind of sitting there, but we're going to go in there and tackle it. The neighborhood's been kind of clamoring for it as well.
And
Yeah, we have a lot like that down there. I was just wondering how you came up with that, so I was hoping it was the software.
yeah, with that, we're looking at the PCI, the Pavement Condition Index, as well as the complaints, right? And I'm not saying like I need my road repaved. It's the potholes, the cracks, those types of things that we're looking at when we're looking at that condition. So those two factors will really play a role in that, as well as just complaints for general public as far as how rough and how bad those are.
Well, I think this last year we all got the word pothole emblazoned in our brains. That's all we heard.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Councilman Gambogi.
How's the cost of this per unit distance compared to the previous proposal you just made?
Two different animals, to be honest with you. One's primarily a 3-inch mill and asphalt replacement. This has multiple surface treatments. It's got thinner sections of asphalt. It's got micro seals. It's got fog seals. It's a kind of a multi-layered approach to various streets. And it's typical of streets like this, more of a rural type road that doesn't have curb and gutter on both sides. Oregon is just kind of a 2-lane road with dirt shoulders. Merritt's got curb on one side, not on the other. So our experience in the especially in the North Prescott area, is roads like this require various types of treatment. It's not a one-size-fits-all application.
Councilwoman Furworth.
Thank you. I was super excited reading the pre-reading. I just a week ago drove down Merritt, and I was shocked. So really needing it badly. But my concern is the side streets off of Oregon Avenue that you're going up into that neighborhood. And I've knocked doors in that neighborhood. That's quite a heck of a hike up to the top at Downer Trail. So the question is working with that neighborhood. I'm concerned about the neighbors that live on the top of that not being able to drive their cars up, or where are they going to park because it's super tight back in there. Is there a plan on how to interface with the neighbors and make sure that people know when it's coming and maybe plan a vacation that week?
Yeah, so we're going to be utilizing a public relations firm, and they will go door to door, as well as that area is slated. It was recently repaved. The roads are in fairly good condition. So we're looking to just do a preventative maintenance, more of a fog seal, which is just a couple of hours of an inconvenience. So it's not like an all-day deal. It's more of just a surface type deal, and it'll cure rather quickly. Yep.
Very good. Is there any public comment?
No, Mayor.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve city contract number 2024-203.
Second.
In a second, please.
Passes 7-0.
Thanks, Greg, and thanks, Tim. And
We need one more motion. I'm sorry, Mayor, to cut you off. We need approval for the night work as well.
okay, we'll do that. But I just wanted to thank them for wearing their ties today.
Mayor, I move to approve night work.
Second.
A motion and a second, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Okay, I could be wrong, but I think we're at the end of our agenda. So we'll close this meeting with a quote from John Quincy Adams. Patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. This meeting's adjourned.